we can't just try and be happy all the time while ignoring parts of ourselves that are, unhappy.
Yeah, that's why I chose the image of somebody with just a paper bag with a smiley face on. It's like painting on the
But
smile.
that's just, okay, wait. Yes, it is tough. And I never
We're really against what we call toxic positivity. So I thought I'd explain what toxic positivity means. So society has trained many to only aim for happiness as an acceptable emotion. But your spirit is here to experience all the emotions. When we come to a place of acceptance with whatever emotion you're feeling, that's when your spirit will naturally move forward.
That's it. That's true. Like, we try to be, aim for just happiness, and we suppress then what we're truly feeling. And we've been told you're not allowed to feel emotion, or don't express your emotions, don't show your emotions. But it's so good to express every part of how you're feeling. And that's it. We have to own every aspect of ourselves, because we can't just try and be happy all the time while ignoring parts of ourselves that are, unhappy.
Yeah, that's why I chose the image of somebody with just a paper bag with a smiley face on. It's like painting on the smile. Because, we can't just paint on a smile, because we're just suppressing things that are going to spill out in really unhelpful ways. So yes, we do talk about gratitude and putting your energy on positive thoughts, but it's about also acknowledging and respecting those other emotions that are there.
That's it. And I've been doing this a lot lately, and you've actually helped me with this one. I just keep saying this is part of the journey. I go through hard times, and that's a part of my healing, that's part of the journey. And you turned around to me one time and he's like, but it was tough, wasn't it? I was like, no, that's just, okay, wait. Yes, it is tough. And I never sit with it for a moment and go, Jesus, that was hard. You can say it. Like, I have this fear of, if I say the negative part, I'll stay there and I'll, enhance it. Whereas, I can actually feel it, express it, and then let it go. But if I avoid it, it gets buried, and then it kind of turns into this pressure cooker that comes out in unhealthy ways.
Yeah. You'll find that if you just sit in the emotion. So the problem that people have is when they sit in the emotion, they sit in the thoughts as well, and it's the thoughts and the spiral that is unhelpful. But if you sit in your body and experience that feeling and acknowledge that it's difficult or that's upsetting, it will start to fade, often.
Exactly.
Not
You
in
can
every.
expect it. And like, when I do sit with it, I'll do my purging, I'll do my crying, or I'll do my screaming. And it's a great way to actually release it. But if I kind of just go, no, I'm fine, I'm having a good day, I'm fine, then I actually end up just getting more and more triggered, and, in other ways. So it's better for me to actually just sit with it, ask myself, how am I, what am I feeling, and just let it go.
Absolutely. And it's good to have a good purge. It's good to just have a good cry about things and get it all out, isn't it, sometimes?
That's it. I said this last week, or, this bugs me. If somebody's crying, a lot of the time people will say, stop crying. It's okay. Don't stop crying. Let it out. Let those tears flow. It's so healthy to release through crying. It really is. Like, I said this before. If you've got the flu, you need to sweat that toxic, the poison out of your body. Whereas, your trauma is effectively poison. And the way to release it is through crying. So the next time somebody cries, tell them that's okay. Release it, let it out. Don't tell them to stop.
Yeah. It's like the way out is through it, isn't it?
Exactly.
not avoiding.
Mm.
Yeah. When I was younger, I just was, in fact, I think I prided myself on the fact that I never really cried, and like now I know how terrible that is now. Well, actually, since having children, I think they emotionally break you. Like, I'm like, even if somebody does something kind, I'm like, oh, that's so kind.
I'm the same. Like, but when somebody tells me they don't cry, it hurts my heart, because I'm like, how much are you holding in? How much tension is built up there? And I'm the same as you. I'll cry at an outbreak. I'll cry if something's happy. I'll cry if something's sad. I cry at cartoons. I watch a Disney movie and I'll cry the whole way through it.
Yeah, it's so important to do that. So we're really against what we call toxic positivity. So I thought I'd explain what toxic positivity means. So toxic positivity is the belief that we should maintain a positive mindset no matter how difficult or painful a situation is, often dismissing the invalid and invalidating genuine emotions in the process. It minimizes our suffering and can make people feel like their struggles are wrong and unimportant. So toxic positivity, we can be toxically positive to ourselves, but also to other people, you know, and meaning the best, like trying to silver line someone else's life is not always helpful. Like, I'm not saying that shifting someone's mindset or focus on something else, there is a time and place for that, but when somebody's deep in the emotion, that's not really the best time, is it?
Yeah, now that's it. Like you sit with the person and you hold space with them. You know, it's not a good time to say, chin up, stop crying, get over it kind of energy. You know, it's like sit with them, let them cry, say, release it, and just hold space with them. And that's all you need to do. Give them the advice later if they want it. They don't might not necessarily even want it. They might just need you to be there and listen.
Yeah, and it's not just sadness. You know, we label emotions as good or bad, and obviously, like things like stress, you know, if for long periods of time can be very damaging. It can really, you know, can cause all sorts of illnesses and things. So obviously, prolonged stress is not good, but each of the emotions have a purpose, that they're there for a reason. They're there to be experienced, and they're there for us to learn from. They're like life's little clues on either you have to change something, you have to move away from someone, you have to plan better. You know, there's lots of, all the emotions have a purpose, and if we ignore them, then we are missing out on an opportunity.
That's it. If we don't listen, we're going to miss what we're healing. That's what the triggers are there for. And, you know, I was like that, like, you know, I have a built up anger inside me from, you know, childhood trauma or past life trauma. And I remember being triggered after doing the video. I was a little bit angry in it. And it was mentioned in a couple of the comments. And I was like, I'm just being passionate. And I was triggered by what they were saying. But then I did a similar video and I was like, no, I am angry. I have every right to be angry after years of persecution. So I just owned it and I felt better after that. Instead of saying, you know, saying that the anger was a bad thing, it was okay because I wasn't hurting anyone. I was just expressing that build-up.
Yeah, and I think that when we label emotions as bad, you know, we can feel like we can feel shame for you know, that was kind of, you was triggered and there was almost like shame. So it's like, no, that's not the case. I wasn't having that emotion.
Yeah.
And actually, you know, it's okay to be angry about things. Anger is an important thing. Otherwise you just get walked over, you know. It's not the emotion in itself, it's the chosen behavior afterwards, you know.
That's exactly it. And you know, if you're triggered and if you do inadvertently lash out at a person, just say to them, look, I'm sorry, this is my shift, this is my stuff that I need to work on. I'm going to take a step back for a minute and figure out what's wrong. It wasn't your fault, I'm sorry. You know, own that, you know, and you know, I do that with my dogs because, you know, they're the only ones I can get angry at. And I'm like, I'm sorry. And then I'm like, I'm sorry, it wasn't your fault, it's my stuff. You know, it just make sure that you're not hurting anyone through your own emotions or anything, and just own your responsibility in it. Because, like, you know, a lot of times we can blame the external person for why we're angry, and in actual fact, it's something within us that needs to be awakened or, you know, healed.
Yeah, and I think as a parent, you know, that's you are under so much pressure, and you do like behave. They're not the parent you envisioned you would be sometimes. And actually, I saw a wonderful reel the other day by our good friend Marusia talking about that. She, you know, that like we get to our wits' end and we are frustrated, and it comes out as anger, and we might shout, and then we have feelings of shame about like how we've behaved. And yeah, like if it was wrong, it was wrong, but still there is a teaching element in that, because it would be great if as a parent we could always be, you know, completely zen but then you're not actually teaching the children how to release their emotions. And even if you did it in a unhelpful way, it's the repair. It gives you an opportunity to have a conversation and say, you know, I was feeling really frustrated, and I, you know, I shouted and it was the wrong thing to do, or I said something that I didn't mean, or, you know, I was a bit harsh with you, and I'm sorry, that was the wrong thing to do. And then you're modeling to them. Oh, hello, Mariusa. I was just talking about your lovely reels. Um, it's an opportunity to teach them how to do that as well, you know?
That's a very good, as you said there, you know, oftentimes you like with children, if they're crying or if they're angry, we suppress that. We're like, shut up, or, you know, kids should be seen and not heard, or, you know, quieten down, you know, big boys don't cry, all this kind of stuff. Whereas, as you said, when you can explain to them your reaction and, you know, how to be accountable for it and how to express it in a healthy way, this is very good, because this is what it leads to inner child issues. Is when we tell the child to suppress and to stop crying. We need to tell the child that it's okay to cry, that it's okay to feel an anger, just to express it. Or if you get angry yourself, it's okay, but, you know, to be accountable afterwards. That's so important for them and their own inner child.
Yeah, and it's so hard for parents. I mean, and my children are 11 and 13, so when I first became a mum, that the advice was the cry it out, you know, like leave them to cry, keep coming back and rubbing them on the chest. And, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I tried it at one point. It didn't work for us because it was just so upsetting for everybody. And so then I went against all the advice at the time and had him in my bed all the time, and, you know, like let him. But when you know now, in fact, they're saying that it's, you know, you can't give children enough love, and, you know, you need to regulate them when they're little. So
Yeah.
it's difficult. I still feel guilty for trying that, you know.
Yeah.
But you it's good to remember as a parent that um you don't have to get it right all the time. It's, you know, repairing is so beneficial for the children, because they can see that you are human too, you make mistakes, that when we make a mistake we own it, which is such an important thing. There's so many children, like when I'm working in schools, that just cannot own it, you know. You can see them do something and they can't own it.
I know, yeah, we used to do that as kids. It's like, oh, it wasn't me, it was my brother. You know, and it's just like, I agree with what you're saying. It's like you have to teach them the right way. And if you're just telling them to bottle up their emotions or that they shouldn't cry, you're teaching them the wrong way. And then that will come out in bad behavior. And, you know, when you repress a child's inner child, that's going to come out in volatile ways. If we repress our own inner child, it's going to come out in volatile ways. So, you know, the way you do it, the way you do it with your own children and with the children you're teaching, I love the way you have that compassion and care for them, and how you're guiding them in the right way, because people, that's what we need. That's what we need in this world, is somebody who actually cares about how these children are. You know, these are the future of humanity.
Yeah.
You know, and we have to start nurturing them properly, because, you know, we've all grown up in a different environment, and we're here to change that cycle, to allow children and people in general to own their emotions, to express their emotions without feeling that shame.
Yeah. Yeah. Mary Eustace commented, she said, that is where my help comes in. I help mums be calmer so they can speak in respectful and loving way, because being a mum is the hardest job in the world. Totally agree, Mariusa.
You
Yeah.
know, I agree. I'm not even a mother, but from seeing my friends, you know, and seeing what you've gone through, I agree 100%. You know, and you are the superhumans of this world. Mothers are, definitely.
It's such an important job, isn't it, parent? And not just mums, dads too, you know.
Yeah. They're molding the future of this planet, you know, and we didn't get what we needed. And, like, you know, when I do have children, I'm going to, you know, try and break that cycle. We need to make this world a better place for the children in it, and for the future of humanity.
Yeah.
And the children are the future.
Absolutely.
So technically we're the future, because we have the mothers are the future, because they're molding the future of humanity.
Absolutely.
Definitely. And the teachers as well.
Yes.
So you have a double superhuman job, so you have.
Yes, so I might mention that at the end, actually, about our Facebook book group.
Oh, definitely.
To come into that, but we'll talk about that maybe later. That's why I've put together a team of coaches who can provide guidance on nutrition, exercise, stress and anxiety management, empowerment, support parents juggling their multiple roles, even business coaching, and much, much more. Between us, we have a wealth of experience in multiple areas of self-development, and we are all passionate to support you.